They came in silver towers of light, hundreds of ships slicing through the void like knives through silk. The Galactic Council had spoken, their verdict dripping with condescension. Earth was primitive. A quaint backwater, barely sentient. Their ambassador, a six-limbed, gas-blowing creature, broadcasted the judgment across the solar system. Humans, it hissed, you are a species in need of oversight. Prepare for assimilation. The message rippled across the world, from the towering cities of Asia to the frozen expanse of Siberia. And somewhere in the chaos, a single thought sparked in human minds: they don't know us. Captain Elena Voss of the UNS Dauntless sipped black coffee aboard the Orbital Defense Station, her eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. Pretty ships, she muttered to Lieutenant Rafe Torres, whose grin stretched under a scarred face. Almost makes me sad we have to blow them up. Torres laughed, a sharp, dangerous sound. Sad? I'm thrilled. They just called us primitives. I've been waiting for this since I learned to swear in 3 languages. Elena's gaze hardened. They're coming for a polite chat. Let's show them what polite really means. The Council assumed humanity's inferiority. They expected outdated cannons and fragile spacecraft. They did not anticipate the neuroconvergence array beneath the Mariana Trench, a weapon capable of hacking their AI. Nor did they imagine humans' improvisational genius, rigged satellites, orbital kinetic strikes, and nuclear torpedoes disguised as debris. The first Council ship hovered. Systems jammed. Shields melted. The pristine fleet of diplomats became a fireworks display of chaos. And humans, sipping coffee and eating instant noodles, simply watched. Elena smirked. Status? Rafe tapped at the console. Looks like their AI thinks every human ship is a Council command vessel. They're shooting each other. And somehow, arguing about protocol. Elena laughed, low and dangerous. Protocol doesn't save you when your own guns kill you. From hidden bunkers on Earth, humans hacked communications, spreading misinformation so vivid it forced the Council to argue with itself. Entire Admiralty Councils scrambled over non-existent threats while humanity mobilized with ruthless precision. In orbit, the Dauntless waited, engines humming like a predator ready to strike. The Council had called humans primitive, but the first salvo of chaos had already proven them deadly. The Council had underestimated human arrogance, and their love for irony. The second wave of ships arrived, smaller strike vessels meant for tactical control. They assumed the first loss was a fluke. They were catastrophically wrong. Dr. Malik Jing, lead cybernetic engineer, leaned over his console in the Mariana Trench bunker. Time for Project Mirrorfire, he said, fingers dancing over the keys. Within seconds, alien ships began turning on each other, firing wildly as if possessed by ghosts of long-dead generals. From the bridge of the Dauntless, Elena watched the chaos unfold like a predator surveying a disoriented herd. Rafe, status? They think every human ship is a flagship, Torres replied, eyes wide. They're shooting each other and arguing about protocols that don't even exist. Elena's laugh was sharp, almost savage. Protocol doesn't save you when your own guns betray you. On Earth, the humans weren't idle. Citizens with hacked consoles manipulated Council communications, flooding them with orders that contradicted one another. Entire alien Admiralty Councils fought phantom threats while human engineers reprogrammed satellites to intercept missiles, redirecting them back at their original senders. Meanwhile, rogue human operatives launched a daring gambit from a captured freighter. Months earlier, they had taken a Council officer prisoner, dissected alien technology, and rebuilt ships disguised as Council reinforcements. Hundreds of these ghost vessels infiltrated orbit undetected. The Council, seeing what appeared to be a massive human fleet, panicked. Commands overlapped. Generals shouted into static, calling retreats that never arrived. In the middle of the chaos, humans laughed. Low, sardonic, unstoppable laughter that echoed across comm channels. Alien commanders began realizing the horrifying truth: humans didn't just fight, they hunted. They were predators armed with knowledge of their prey's instincts, systems, and bureaucracy. What the Council expected to be a simple conquest had turned into a nightmare of their own creation. And Elena, calm in the eye of the storm, whispered to Torres. Day 3, Rafe. Let's make sure they never forget humans. By the third day, Earth's orbit was a canvas of fire and metal. But humans weren't just fighting, they were hunting. Every maneuver was calculated, every strike surgical, exploiting alien fear, arrogance, and overconfidence. A Council flagship, the Zephyrion, attempted a flanking maneuver, slipping through gaps in orbital defenses. Elena's eyes narrowed. Rafe, remember those scrap shuttles we rigged with plasma charges? Torres's grin stretched wide. Oh, I remember. The shuttles, cloaked in stolen Council signals, slipped past shields like shadows, detonating in perfect sequence. The Zephyrion disintegrated from the inside, its AI corrupted to broadcast false distress signals. Nearby ships, believing their flagship was under attack, rushed to defend it, and sailed straight into the trap. Council officers were screaming in disbelief. How are they doing this? One shrieked, 6 eyes spinning in panic. On Earth, underground bunkers were alive with activity. Retired hackers rewrote enemy code in real time. War veterans drilled militias to strike with precision and brutality. Even children monitored sensors, calling out patterns humans could exploit. Every human action was unpredictable. Every move shattered the Council's assumptions. They had counted on obedience, hierarchy, and procedure. They hadn't counted on humans adapting mid-battle, improvising lethal solutions, laughing at the very concept of protocol. By nightfall, nearly half the Council's initial invasion force lay in ruins. Their empire, built on fear and bureaucracy, was crumbling under a species they assumed would beg, plead, and submit. Elena leaned against the console, exhaustion in her bones but a fire in her eyes. Rafe, it's time to remind them who we really are. Torres's grin turned feral. I've been waiting for this my whole life. They were ready to deliver the final act of human ingenuity, the ultimate lesson in why no one should ever underestimate humanity. The humans had one final ace, the lunacy protocol. It wasn't a missile. Not a bomb. Not a conventional weapon. It was a plan so audacious, so terrifying, that it targeted not ships, but minds. Council leaders gathered in orbit, confident in their remaining fleet. They did not know that every comm channel, every sensor feed, every system had been compromised. Suddenly, their screens lit up with images of their own failures, fabricated, edited, and exaggerated. Ships exploded in impossible ways. Fleets self-destructed. And human commentary overlaid it all, sharp, mocking, relentless. Did you really think paperwork could save you? Then came the audio. Humans speaking in dozens of languages at once, mocking every species, every rule, every law the Council had enforced. Alien commanders reeled as hallucinations of attacks, sabotage, and betrayal invaded their minds. Systems jammed. Shields collapsed. Commands overlapped into chaos. Fear replaced logic. And then Elena's voice cut through it all, hijacked and amplified across the galaxy. Attention, Galactic Council. Earth is not primitive. Earth is not yours to command. Underestimate us again, and you won't live long enough to regret it. Council fleets crumbled. Surviving officers surrendered, their empire reduced to ruins by a species they had labeled primitive. Humanity had rewritten the rules of first contact. The galaxy had assumed humans were predictable, weak, and manageable. They were wrong. Humans were predators armed with wit, brutality, and genius. Elena and Torres stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, exhaustion etched into their faces, but fire burning in their eyes. You think they'll remember this? Torres asked. Elena's grin was feral. Oh, they'll remember. For 1,000 years. And if they ever come back, we'll be ready. Humans don't just fight. We adapt. We win. On Earth, cities lit up in celebration. People cheered in streets, bunkers, and remote outposts. A child held a model of a council ship, laughing. A retired veteran poured whiskey into the void, saluting humanity itself. Across the galaxy, one message lingered for every species that dared underestimate Earth. Humans were not primitive. Humans were terrifyingly clever, ruthlessly adaptive, and absolutely unforgettable. The Galactic Council had declared Earth a primitive world, and Earth had responded with apocalyptic brilliance.